Hey, what is up, Colts Nation? I am Josh Hudgens with the Common Colt Podcast, a Colts podcast where we bring you Colts news in under 10 minutes or less. So let's get that timer going and let's talk Colts football as we get a Week 2 victory over the Denver Broncos. And what a game that was. A pulse-pounding finish for sure. If you're not familiar with our show after games, we give a one-word reaction. To me, the one word is simple. Real. The Colts are real. Week 1, people were quick to point out, or some haters were quick to point out, or maybe some realists, they said, hey, it's one game, it's week 1. We don't know how good or bad Miami is going to be this year. The Colts really looked good that game, but can they back it up? Was Daniel Jones just going to have another fluke game? Or was it just a fluke game in week 1? And how is he going to follow that up? And when you play a team like the Denver Broncos, who are a playoff caliber football team, who have a Super Bowl winning head coach, and by the way, a good, solid second-year quarterback in Bo Nix, and you get that win, you're real. Good teams find ways to win football games, even when you don't play perfect. The Colts were not perfect today. Situationally, we were not good today in the red zone. I felt like we settled for field goals way too much. Defensively, we were really poor in the first half. I know there's some question marks on penalties, but at the end of the day, it was Swiss cheese a majority of the game. But ultimately, the Colts found a way to win. And a mark of a real team is a team that finds a way to win in different ways. And the Colts found a way to win today. Daniel Jones, that's been the storyline the first 2 weeks of the season. Again, a very solid day from Jones. No turnovers, over 300 total yards, threw a touchdown. Had another quarterback sneak. I think they hit 3 quarterback sneaks in a row there, and he finally got punched in the end zone. Made some really good throws, long passes, stretching the field at times. Was pretty accurate today. He missed a couple throws, but overall was just solid in making the right read. And in a game where he had to score points and the pressure was on him. I said before the show, earlier this week, I said, if the Colts have to score a lot of points and if it was a shootout, I didn't think the Colts were going to win because I didn't think that Daniel Jones was capable of keeping up with that. But boy, was I wrong. The pressure was on the Colts offense to perform today, and they scored a lot of points, and they moved the ball very well against a top-ranked defense, a very talented defense in Denver. So I am just elated with how Daniel Jones played again today. I'm surprised. Again, some missed passes, some plays, could have gone either way, but overall, I'm very impressed with Daniel Jones today. Jonathan Taylor, some people called it the Jonathan Taylor redemption game, entering the game. Touchdown, long run, well over 100 yards altogether, rushing and receiving. Just great game from Jonathan Taylor. Obviously, he had the game last year against the Broncos in a crucial game where he tossed the ball short of the goal line. We knew we were going to have to get the running game going, and Jonathan Taylor showed out today. Very, very, very strong game from Taylor. That last drive, I mean, he could touch the ball every play except for one that crossover to Pierce. But, I mean, Taylor really took over in the second half after he was getting bottled up in the first half, and they were facing a lot of stacked boxes there. And Taylor showed that he could still be a bell cow and that he could still be capable of big plays. Last year, a lot of people wrote him off for some reason. If you look at his stats, I know he had missed some time last year. He had a really solid year last year, and he's looking to have another solid year this year. When teams can't just sell out on the run every play because you have a quarterback who's just working the ball downfield, that helps everybody, and that takes some pressure off Taylor. And I was pleased with Taylor's performance. Cam Bynum, let's talk about Cam Bynum. Another interception, another big interception, a momentum-turning interception. It's been a long time since we've had a playmaker at safety, and Cam Bynum is showing to be that kind of guy. The defense let up a lot of yards, and I believe they had just gotten stuffed there, and the Broncos were driving downfield, and it wasn't looking good. And Cam Bynum comes up with a huge interception. And then the celebration with Blue was top. The guy's celebrations are pretty nice. No penalties yet on his celebrations either, which is nice. But I was impressed with how Cam Bynum, what an offseason signing he was. I didn't know how well he was going to be and how well he was going to fit the defense. But defensively, if I were to say there's one bright spot, it was Cam Bynum today. Just that one interception, opportunistic. It reminded me of the Manning era Colts defense where they let up a lot of yards and then you might get a turnover, a Freeney strip sack, a Mathis strip sack, maybe Antoine Bethea would get a sack an interception. That was the type of play that Bynum had today, and that jazzed me up. But let's be real now. Now that we got the fun part out of the way, let's give some grades. I'm going to say Daniel Jones was a B to a B plus today. He had some inaccurate passes, nearly threw an interception, but overall, I'm going to give him a B plus just because he had over 300 yards, no turnovers. He looked sharp throughout the day, tried stretching the ball downfield against a pretty stout Denver Broncos defense. Taylor's an A. Offense overall, I'm going to give him a B. You scored a lot of points. If I'm going to nitpick here on offense and Shane Steichen, it was just the red zone. We left a lot of points on the board there. We kicked a lot of field goals. Even that game winner, that last drive, we got a little too conservative. I know Taylor was starting to feast, but we were facing 9-man boxes, and I would have liked to have maybe seen Jones on that last play before Taylor got stuffed was a pass. But overall, I'm going to give the offense a B to a B plus again. Same with Daniel Jones. Just red zone. Some situational football there. I felt like we could have been a little bit better on. Some room for improvement, right? I mean, still good, still passing, but if we could have stepped it up a little bit there inside the red zone, maybe we don't have a pulse pounding finish, which would be nice. Defense is a C, at best a C. I mean, the bright spot is that we came up with the stops when we had to. We held them to a field goal, Denver to a field goal late that they missed, which was just great. Cam Bynum had that interception, but they're missing Ward today. They're missing Latu. Obviously, Jones is out. They're missing some guys, but overall, that first half, penalties aside, was bad Colts defensive football. I mean, that's a C. If it wasn't for the opportunistic interception by Bynum, it might just be lower. Because how bad the Denver Broncos looked last week against the Titans to come out, and I think Bo Nix had 3 passing touchdowns in the first half. I mean, that was bad. That was bad defense today. The good news is I think Ward will probably be back next week. Hopefully Latu's back next week. We're playing the Titans. So I have reason for hope. But this week, compared to the Dolphins week, stark contrast. Game balls. If I'm in the locker room and if I'm head coach Shane Steichen, I'm tossing a ball to Spencer Schrader, of course. He had that miss, and that was not pretty. The game winner. He was given a new lease on life. And he crushed that 45-yarder to win the game. The stats show he was perfect today. So he gets a game ball, game winner. Jonathan Taylor gets a game ball. Big runs, touchdown catch. Just looked like Jonathan Taylor of old. Looked really good. Helped the Colts settle in and keep in the football game. He gets a game ball. And Daniel Jones, I'm going to toss him a game ball too. Over 300 yards. Showed there was a lot of pressure on Daniel Jones to perform this week. There really was, after how good he was against the Dolphins, and he lived up to the expectations against a better team, a better defense, and he had to drive his team downfield, and he hit that third down pass there against the Broncos with the pressure coming off the edge. Daniel Jones gets a game ball. Again, no turnovers, made the right throws, got it out quick. Danny Dimes gets a football, in my opinion. So how am I feeling, Colts fans? We're 2-0. We just beat the Broncos. We beat the Dolphins. How do I feel? And the answer is I'm feeling good. The outlook is good. We got the Titans next week. I think we're going to be favored in that ball game. And I feel good about it. Cam Ward has shown some flashes there, but overall, I think the Colts have an opportunity to go 3-0. And this is probably the most optimistic I think the fan base has been in a long time to start a season. We're going to get some players back healthy next week. I think we're going to win next week, and we're going to be 3-0. We're going to enjoy this win. The offense was sharp. Defense got some room for improvement. I think Shane Steichen's play calling took a dip this week compared to last week. Nitpicking, but it's my job. Overall, the outlook is optimistic. Colts fans, if you haven't watched the Common Colt podcast before, my goal is to bring you Colts news, authentic takes, nothing generic. I don't want to give you guys news that is stuff you want to hear. Even if it's a non-popular opinion, even if all of Colts Twitter and all other Colts YouTubers and the Colts are saying things, I'm going to give you the truth, what I honestly believe, even if it's not popular. And I'm going to try to give you that news in under 10 minutes or less. If that's something you think you can watch and enjoy, go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and comment below what your one word is, who you're giving the game ball is, whatever grades you want to give them. Colts fans, we made it. We did it under 10 minutes or less. That's the Colts recap. The Colts could be a playoff team. I'm feeling good. I hope you enjoyed this video. And until next time, have a great day and go Colts.